Hi everybody, today you are going to be learning about Faust. This tall lanky man is a dominant character in the neutral, and while he doesn't have any defensive options except one really incredible one that is nowhere in the game's instructions, his amazing buttons, unique movement tools, and of course his chaos that he brings with his items make sure he can keep his opponents out of their arm's reach while remaining in his very long spidery ones. Starting off, Faust of course has a very tall hurt box, but he does have very unique ways to change his position on screen. Not only does his dash low profile well, but by holding down and forward or down and back, Faust will slowly crawl on the ground, making it a lot easier for him to low profile things such as fireballs, which can allow him to close the gaps and punish with some of his longer buttons like crouching heavy slash. In the air while he has a normal backdash, dashing forward will cause him to go into a kind of gliding flight, which you can steer up or down. Not only that, but by doing a down kick in the air, Faust will go into a diagonal spin that will slowly bring him downwards. His glide is amazing at getting out of pressure when high, and this kick is really good at getting out of it when low, as it's very safe, even plus when you get it right as you are rising up. While when it's done higher on the opponent's block, it can be punished. You can make this really hard to punish by switching between doing his quarter circle forward punch, bomb bag to stuff them in front, or going into his mix tornado to fly above, fly away, fly back, do whatever you want. Finally, as far as his movement goes, he has his scarecrow teleports, which are not too good when you don't have meter, as they're very unsafe, but when you do are incredibly good and versatile tools. Inputted with quarter circle back and a variant of punch, kick, or slash, you can appear in front of, behind, or above your opponent respectively. Do a roaming cancel into your grab, his command grab. There are a ton of options to have, or you can just peace out and fly away should you want to abort the mission. So now with movement all covered, let's go into his really strong buttons, because they are really dominant buttons in the neutral space. His standing punch is a really good anti-air and just mash on the opponent's block, and you can always chain it into a crouching punch if you want to sneak in a cheeky little low. But keep in mind, there isn't a follow-up to that, so that's the ender of the string. And the forward punch, of course, is his great anti-air, but also does a really nice push away from the opponent to make some space. And space is the name of the Faust game. Standing far slash is incredibly quick and easily change into his crouching heavy slash, which again pushes even further away for the opponent. Now this is a massively covering low, which is really strong tool to have, but keep in mind that going into an item toss or just hitting them on block when they're really close becomes very punishable, so use it with caution. While 2H is fantastic at controlling the ground with a low, 6H is fantastic at dragging opponents back down and just being a really solid overhead hit for if they're looking out for that low. Half circle forward kick is a very strong scalpel stab that you have the potential to go into a little like mini game fishing stance. By holding back the moment it connects, you will attach a string to them, pull back, and bring them towards you. You do a follow-up with heavy slash, and you want to time it just at this perfect moment that'll do a little home run, which will wall break in the corner. If you're a little too early, that's better than being too late, as being too late will cause them to tumble and get up immediately, while being too early, it will just be a little bit of a softer hit and they'll get knocked down, but not like if you got the strong one. However, this move can easily be 6-speed, so that is your warning for throwing it out too much in neutral. 5H is a good little stab, and by pressing the button again, you will pick them up and toss them further away. Unless of course they're in the corner, in which case they will bounce up and let you combo right after. Now we'll get right into those little combos that are really strong to kind of link together and build your longer combo paths, but I would be remiss if I did not talk about Faust's crouching kick. This thing hits 3 times, and you'll be surprised when you start picking him up how easy it is for you to cancel it too early. Letting all 3 hits rock is really important, because while the first hit is a medium, the second 2 are low, which is really strong for opening up the opponent. And showing that you will let all 3 hits rock into a 4th hit, like a crouching dust, opens up the potential mind game for canceling after the first hit into an item toss and catching your opponent unawares, waiting for the whole string to play out. Now what's really exciting about Faust is that he has some crazy combos that can arise because of items, but you can really get by with knowing just a couple core ones and then just using his superb buttons and neutral game. Without meter, going from standing slash into crouching slash into heavy slash and then his toss is a simple 4-hit combo to give you space, or again if you toss them into the wall, you can go into standing kick. From there you can jump cancel, go into a jumping slash and then heavy slash for another wall bounce, or you can go right back into a standing close slash, crouching slash, and then do his mix tornado to build up enough hits to break the wall. As you approach the corner, doing any small string into an RC pop can be really good because you can close slash, jump, and then use your heavy slash, which I didn't talk about yet, as it is such a good space control horizontally, but also can cause wall bounces to go right back into more combos. For controlling vertical space, his jumping kick is incredibly good at just being a fast poke, but his jump does dust, I mean, that thing just hits massively under it. Very good to use. Also, mini shout out to Jumping Punch, as it's a really good low recovery move to just kind of throw out and check your opponents in the air. Now, growing the Faust combo game will, as you get more experience, mainly come from items, which we are right about to get into, but there is one key thing that many people, I did not know until I started researching this, and I found it quite fascinating, which is his mix tornado. Now, this move can go really far forward, really far backwards. Wherever you're holding after he starts mixing, you have a lot of control over the gravity. What this actually means is that if you are hitting someone and confirming it in a combo, it is possible to control the gravity enough that they bounce on the ground and you can continue a combo after. So mainly if you've only done about one hit, so a strong anti-air like a crouching slash or a counter hit close slash, whatever it may be, go into mix holding towards your opponent. After the first couple hits, start holding down as you enter the third hit and then diagonally down away from your opponent for the last one. You'll find that this almost sucks them down to the ground for a higher ground bounce and brings you closer to the ground so you recover quicker. From here, you can go into a standing kick or your close slash into a longer string in the corner. In the middle of the screen where you don't have the wall to help support you, you can always just do another close slash into another mix, putting your opponent now with their back to the wall and you ready to start your scary pressure game. All right, now I got something for you here. Yes, what could this be? The centerpiece of the Faust game and his trademark, this fantastical item toss. Done with quarter circle forward punch, you get a variety of different objects that you can use to mainly your advantage if the one playing him. Now, like everything about him, the arc that he throws it is random, though it's not like he'll throw it behind him. It's just that it can be a little bit more forward or a little bit more reserved. It just takes a little getting used to, but it's nothing too worrisome. Starting off, you can get the bomb. Now, the bomb is really fun as you can use it, of course, for a big old explosion, but you have a lot of options for the arcs you can send this. It will pulse 6 times before igniting, and both players can hit this, but depending on which moves you use to hit it, it will go at very different angles, such as 2S going very high up, or you can do these little sweeps to send at a more, horizontal angle. Important things to note are that any hit that you do on the bomb can be canceled as if you were hitting someone in their block state, and the bomb's explosion will ignite the afro because it does have the fire property. You also can, from his fishing stance, kick someone up in the air with a bomb, which can lead to some saucy as hell combos. Next, we have the banana and peel, as you can throw either of these out. If it is in banana form, either person can pick this item up to heal a tiny bit of health, and it will toss a peel on stage, which will cause someone to slip if they run into it, but if you are walking backwards, you can instantly block it and make it disappear. The donut is essentially the banana without the potential of the peel coming out, but it also isolates them as their own chance, as if one of these food items is out, it is less likely that you will throw that same food item out. Next, we have trumpet, which, despite what anyone says, is fantastic for Faust. Yes, it's annoying if the opponent gets it, but you can treat it as pretty much one of the only things the opponent actually would want to grab, and it can be a very tasty piece of bait. Whoever picks this up will summon an army of little Fausts across the screen, which are fantastic for keeping the opponent locked down and creating a lot of freestyle combos. It can also pick up grabs meterless, so really awesome to get, and makes sense why both players would want this. Now, one of the absolute best things that you can get is Mini Faust. He's essentially a little sentry guy that will do a couple laps back and forth, but will get set off by either the bomb or any hits from your opponent or just running into them. He will go buck wild and leap right at the opponent, ruining their pressure, their combo, whatever it is, and pretty much giving you back your turn. The hammer is quite strong as it cannot hurt Faust, and it has such a high attack level. This will mess up if you throw it, even some supers. This can also hit some opponents on its way up, unlike the 100-ton weight, which when it comes down is really good at bringing people right back to earth. When the 100-ton weight hits the ground, it will cause a screen shake, which will cause guard crush to either player if they are blocking on the ground, or straight up knock them down if they aren't, essentially forcing people to jump, which you can take advantage of as Faust with his very strong aerial buttons like jumping heavy slash or just throwing out a bomb bag if you both jump back. The last 2 items that you can get are pretty phenomenal, one being meteors, which is the rarest of all, but with good reason, as this will summon random meteors down across the screen, guard crushing the opponent on block, igniting the afro when you get it, and best of all, because it is so potent, you can use this to essentially cover a side switch with the scarecrow mix-up and make it completely safe, and honestly really hard to even see which one you went for. Finally, and we've talked about a lot, is afro, and there is reason that you would want to pick it up as Faust. First though, the detriments, because of course mainly you're trying to get the opponent to wear this afro. Now, any character with this afro afro will have their hurt box extended up. This is so good. Not only does this make people more susceptible to your big hits, but it also causes them to lose invulnerability on their 6Ps, which means they lose access to their free anti-air button. So if you're playing against them or as them and you get it on yourself, keep this in mind. 6Ps are not air invincible anymore. Now the afro can get shed off of an opponent once they block 10 hits, or if they get hit with a fire move, even including Soul's moves that have fire. If ignited while blocking, it will explode after a little bit, giving you time to make a block string happen or the opening of a combo turn into something. On hit, it will explode almost immediately, so keep that in mind to convert from maybe a jump dust into your staple combos. Finally, the last cool little tidbit that you have is that bomb bag that you throw in the air when you have the afro will shed the afro if Faust is wearing it and instead cause the bomb bag to bounce. And this will go full screen, allowing you to run in with this projectile, and it guard crushes on hit. You know, pretty phenomenal all around. No real downsides I can see. All right, so there are just a couple more things that are important to go over before we put all this into a plan for you. Starting off with something a little more cutesy, his charged dust has a very unique property where he will bat any projectile back at their opponents. So that's really good to keep in mind for an opponent who will forget that that's an option. And of course, if you do end up landing a charged dust, you can go for a universal high damage follow-up by going dust, heavy, double jump into heavy, dust, heavy, and finish that jumping into kick, kick. Pretty straightforward and works on everybody. Now, there are many times that you can throw items, but it's really good to have a foundation of a couple times that you know you're guaranteed to be able to safely do them. Learn these key times to throw items, being off of a crouching dust to get 1, off of a forward punch to get 1, or off of a forward heavy slash if the opponent's in the air and you get them to bounce, you can get 2. Of course, also as you condition your opponent to be scared or maybe respect the items on screen, you can start throwing more, as there is no limit to the amount of items you can have on screen. You can cause utter complete chaos. Once you have meter especially, you are incredibly scary with RC cancels for combos, keeping tornadoes safe, or doing your teleports into command grabs and punishes. Once you have knocked someone down with a grab or your command grab, you can always run at them, do a close slash, jump up, and then go for an air dash. Now this timing can be a little bit tricky because of how his glide function works. It is very likely when you're learning that you will be hitting his jump dust too early, so make sure you wait that little bit so that it's red as the opponent wakes up. After the command grab, this will ignite the afro, letting you continue your pressure strings, or you can be really cheeky and do a very delayed jumping slash as you angle your glide down so that there is no hitbox and you can go for a grab or command grab again. Make sure to take advantage of any time your opponent tries to leap into the air, as you have so many options to bring them back down to the ground, and many buttons are safe against a jumping opponent. While it is punishable if done raw, tornado is really good if you're a little above the opponent, as you can kind of mix them up whether you're going to stay on left or right side, or you can just fly away to stay safe. Use your bomb toss to change your air momentum in an instant, and you always have the ability to fly away or do your descending kick into another option should you want to. Once you've created space and gotten them full screen, don't be afraid to do your big scalpel stab, as you can pretty much dissuade any projectiles from being tossed at you by threatening that big stab, or the ability to just duck under and then knock them down again. Once you have meter though, this is where the real games begin. If you've landed a hit from the aerial dive scarecrow, you can immediately RC and the gravity will take you down to the ground, allowing for a really easy combo pickup. I had also mentioned Faust has an incredibly scummy, evil, really cool reversal. If you do bone crushing excitement, his invincible super, if you PRC forward right after you input it, kind of as if you were Kara canceling a grab, you will in the same use of meter have the clover come up and then he will cancel it. This is so strong because again, you only need 50 meter, not the 50 for super and then 50 for cancel. It is just that one, and it still gives you the invincible startup, and you can go right into a grab or whatever you react to your opponent doing. This is something to grind out. Do not sleep on this. This is the best piece of Faust tech you can learn, as it's pretty much his only defensive one. Other uses for meter outside of these supers are you actually can do double quarter circle forward for a super, what could this be, tossing out 4 items, or, and this is pretty memey but pretty funny, you can do a triple quarter circle forward for a what could this be, and you, I mean, it looks like you're glitching the game, but yeah, you toss 10 items out, so this is chaos in a can. Okay, so now to summarize all this, because this was a lot of tough info to digest, but very key and important, as comes with some of these more neutral and especially this item-based character. With Faust, you have the ability to control every part of the screen. Use your long sweeping aerials and good movement to establish zones of control and dissuade your opponent from challenging you. Toss out items to get your mixes going and really tilt the odds ever in your favor. Play a controlled game going in and out of your opponent's zones until you get meter, and then you have options to many different party time. While committal, they are all so incredibly strong that if you use them correctly, you will be able to loop your mix, your pressure, your small little combos over and over and over, and keep building your resources as you drain your opponents. Make sure you get down these key execution things, such as influencing the gravity of your mix, or getting your PRC from supers, as these will open up new horizons for your offense and defense alike. Juggle them in the air, spin them around on the ground. As you grow comfortable with all the options of what could this be, you will be able to start being 2-3 steps ahead of your opponent. Work in some cheeky OTGs into either aerial meaties or fake into command grabs, and don't be afraid to keep knocking on the door with punches or the ever reliable 2K. And of course, while it's always great to go for that amazing PRC cancel super, sometimes it's great to let it rock and see their faces twist. That's all for this character guide. I really hope that you got a lot out of it. It would mean the world for, you know, any kind of support, like whatever it is, but I really hope you'll stick around because this guide was decided on by a vote, and I'm going to be putting out another poll for the next one, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If you haven't checked out any of the previous guides, I'll put them right here, and until next time, enjoy playing Guilty Gear and all the fun games we got. See ya!